This is Betsy Jensen, and you are listening to Unstoppable Body and Mind, episode 80, Resolving Jane's SI Joint Flare.
In this podcast, we learn to upgrade our brain and understand the power of our thoughts, to heal and to create the results we want in our life. Become the person in control of your healing and make peace with your life. Become unstoppable, body and mind.
Hello, my loves. Today, I have a coaching call for you to listen to. Now, this is with Jane, who's actually been on the podcast before. She's my first person to be on the podcast twice, but she was a former client of mine, and she has been doing really well. She started having pain a few months ago, and it's been getting progressively worse. And she was starting to get heart palpitations too, which was a new symptom. So she got on a call with me so that we could explore what's really going on with her pain. And we found some interesting things. So if you are someone that's struggling with chronic pain, I want you to listen to this coaching and see how it applies to you. Sometimes by seeing the parallels in someone else's story, you are able to apply and integrate and learn things in a way that could be even more powerful than being coached directly at times. So here we go, my coaching call with Jane. All right, Jane. So tell me what's been going on this recent time your SI joint started hurting.
Okay, well, you know, in the past that it has bothered me at various times when things are stressful. Most recently, this past year, when I was having issues with my sister. So I think that it started bothering me again, maybe in June. Also starting to have anxiety as well, palpitations. And as the summer has gone on, mostly in August, and I started getting really nervous and my SI joint started hurting more and more. And now when I'm out walking in the morning, I can walk for about 3 minutes and then it really starts to hurt. So, but I keep on going because I know this work and I know not to baby it. So I haven't taken any Tylenol. I haven't stopped my activities.
Okay. So what was going on in June?
Well, what I think may be behind it, I'm not for sure. I still am having issues with my sister, but not as much. I mean, we've recently started texting a little bit. So, I mean, I don't think that's the big issue at the moment. A year and a half ago, I had quit my job at the FSU College of Medicine. And I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with my time, but right at the same time as when COVID happened. And so the things that I thought I might do, wasn't able to do, like travel or do volunteer stuff and all that. So in about 6 months after that, that was in March, in about September, October, I really realized that I missed working on the project. I missed using my brain. I missed the people. Okay, so I applied for the job. I'm clearly the most qualified of anybody. I worked there for 9 years. I know how it works. And then it's just a lot of bureaucratic stuff, of waiting and waiting and waiting. And so in June, or as time went on, it looked like I might actually have a possibility of at least being interviewed or being considered for the job. August 9th was the day that the position closed, and then they started reviewing applications. And here it is, September. So they're finally reviewing applications. They've reviewed them, and there's 5 people for the job that they're going to interview, and one of them is me. And so I think I have a pretty good job. Actually, I think they're going to hire 2 part-time people of getting the job. And I think that I might be panicking at the thought of actually doing this and going back to work and not having the free time that I've had, for the last year.
When did that panic start? I was curious when you said the anxiety, the palpitations.
July, I would say.
July, and the SI joint around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Not as much, but really, really in August it did. And then now it really is.
Mm.
And I'm going to be interviewed on Thursday,
Okay.
this Thursday.
So
That's
it's
the only
pretty,
thing I can think of that's really
yeah.
emotionally charged at the moment.
Yeah, and you said panicking. So for sure we know fear, amplifies everything. It amplifies your pain, it gives you cortisol, it can, give you palpitations, right? So tell me why you're panicking. You're thinking of this job. What about the going back to work is causing panic?
My thought, and all this whole time, all I could think about is I really want to go back to work for them. I really want to go back to work. I miss the people, blah, blah, blah. And then the closer it's gotten, then I'm like, I'm going to lose all my free time. I'm going to lose my freedom of, going over to my daughter's house and playing with her new puppy, or, going on a trip when I want to go on a trip.
How does it feel when you think like I'm going to lose my freedom? When you just say that sentence to yourself, like how does that feel in your
Anxious.
body? Yeah. Well, tell me like what kind of symptoms or how you feel.
Like my heart rate speeds up.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
start to tense up. And
yeah,
I mean, it's flight.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I mean, the palpitations that's your heart rate speeding up, right?
Yeah, and it kind of flip-flops and stuff like that. And I've had a whole cardiac workup, because this has happened to me before when I'm under stress. And when I was stressing about my business, there have been times when this has happened, and there's nothing out of order in my heart, so I know that that's not it. So
Okay. Well, that's amazing news, right? That you've
yeah,
felt something similar before and it was nothing.
after a while it stopped.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to lose my freedom. That's the thought that mainly comes up.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think about that? When you think about that with this whole going back to work scenario?
Well, I think that what if I don't enjoy it like I did before? Like, what if I that I'm in it, I really don't like the job, like.
Well, where does enjoying come from, right?
But my brain, of course.
Yeah.
Um like, I don't want to disappoint them again. I mean, if I go in, I got to go all in, because
Okay.
I can't be in, like Never Land. I can't be in limbo.
Okay. So you have this thing of not wanting to disappoint them.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And that I may have to go into the office a couple of times a week, going into the medical school, which I used to enjoy, but and it's not really a problem, except that when I worked for them before, I worked from home primarily. I could pick when I wanted to go in, but with this position, which I'm going to clarify on Thursday, I don't know how much I'm actually going to have to be in the office.
Yeah. Okay. Well, when you first started and you were talking about, starting, I think you said September, you were starting to August, September last year, you were starting to want to go back and missing the people and it was interesting to me too, because that, again, it's not the circumstance that's creating the feeling that you'll have, but I'm curious what you thought you would feel going back to work. What emotion?
Excited.
Like what would going back to work, how would it affect you? What would it be, providing you with?
Some feelings of worth, like that I am valued and they need me, and some status that I work at the medical school, and just the word is feeling of like not generosity but openness,
Oh, okay.
because this project trains and supports African American caregivers of people with Alzheimer's and dementia.
Okay. So you
So
would feel open doing
yeah.
that. Like you would. Uh-huh.
Yeah, like I'm giving.
Uh-huh. And so what's interesting to just remember in all of this is that no matter what, it's not our circumstance creating the feeling, right? Like it's not whether you go back to work or you stay doing what you're doing now that could give you that feeling of openness, right? So, maybe there's no right answer here. Sounds like it's kind of 50-50 either way.
Yes.
There's some things you like about going back to work and that idea. There's some.
Yeah, here's the thing, Betsy, though, like this whole year the COVID year and all that, I went on a couple really fun trips, but I've been restless. Like I've just been, I've been kind of rattling around the house trying to think of, things that I really want to do. And I've done a little volunteer stuff that I enjoy, but I really don't feel like I'm working my brain. My whole work life has always been in healthcare administration. Like, that's what I've done and it's what I'm good at. So it's only been in the last few months that I started to panic about it. Like before that, I'm like, I really want that job. I really want to go back.
Exactly, right. Because it's like when you don't have it, that's what you want. And then the closer you are to actually having it, you're like, no, what I did have is what I want. I want my freedom. So your brain can just really argue for either side. And you just want to be aware that you can argue for both sides. There's not a right or a wrong. The feeling of restlessness at home wasn't coming from you being home. It was coming from your thoughts, right?
Yep.
So you could create these feelings, whether you're at home, you could, do it at work. It's not the environment you need to change.
Yeah.
So what are you thinking right now? Are you taking some notes?
My SI joint's hurting. Like because I've been talking to my brain based on, our work and listening to Nicole Sachs, like, it's okay, Janie, it's okay. We can handle this. Okay, brain, you can let go of this panic right now because we can figure this out. We'll figure it out in the best possible way. No need to send pain impulses to my SI joint. You've got my attention.
Yeah. How does that go?
Good. It hasn't stopped hurting yet, but
okay, yeah.
But at least
does it ever turn down the volume of the pain a little?
Not that I've noticed, but see, when I'm out walking in the morning, sometimes I'm listening to a podcast, but sometimes I'm thinking.
Yeah. So since the pain came up, why don't we go there? Tell me from 0 to 10, how much pain you're feeling, what it feels like.
Well, the position that I'm sitting in right now, it's about a 5, but it gets up to 8 or 9. And when I'm walking, when I get up and down, various things.
Okay. If you were to stand up right now, would that increase your pain typically? Is that a movement that
Yeah.
Do you want to try it just to see, and then we'll do some of that mental work? Sorry to put you in more pain, but
no,
just for the sake of science.
And in fact, right now it's not hurting that bad.
Oh, okay. What happened when you stood up then? going from sit to stand?
Not much.
Okay.
It's
Does it
just
still
certain positions. Like I have a trainer, and if I do this going back, that hurts in my SI joint. Although actually right now it doesn't hurt that bad. But at any rate,
So wait, pause.
yeah.
Emphasize
Now it hurts. Now I have to
Okay.
get in a certain position. But
Okay.
yes,
It may be not even the position, but yes.
yeah, yes,
So
yes.
it's when you do have those moments where you're like, oh, that's weird, this time it didn't hurt as much, make a mental note of that, right? Because I want you to always build a case of it's possible it's not structural,
Right.
Because that helps your belief, that will subconsciously help your brain not tighten up when you go to do those certain movements.
Oh, okay. So make a mental note of when it's not hurting so I
Mhm.
can build a case. Okay.
Yes, it's so important because our reticular activating system, that part of our brain that wants to prove itself true, will
Yeah.
ignore the other evidence. I mean, I've had people tell me one thing one day, and then the next day they've completely forgotten that they had less pain. So you want to just, it's like shifting your focus from all the times you do have pain to the times you don't. And then you start to see more of those times you don't have pain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But where was I going to go after that? Okay. But so then you do have some pain right now. It
Yeah.
tightened back up. Okay. So why don't we just have you sit here then? And is it back to a 5? Is that what it is? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's just have you sit there, close your eyes, start to tune into your body, starting with the breath. You can just notice what your breath is like naturally, if it, however fast or slow it is. If you want to start to deepen the breath, you can, if that feels good. But just giving yourself a few breaths to start to tune into yourself and let everything else around you go. Feel support by the chair and the floor. And then as you tune into your body, scan your body, what do you feel and where do you feel it?
Actually, I've been practicing a loving kindness meditation. Like I am safe, I am well, I am loved.
Yeah.
And so when I do deep breathing and when I do that, my body does relax. And the palpitations go way down.
Okay.
Um,
Amazing. How does the SI joint feel?
I mean,
You're kind of moving. Are you trying to find the spot or?
I'm in it right now. It feels like there's like a hot poker, like going right in that joint.
Mm-hmm. And if you're just sitting there, not moving, but you imagine yourself walking, I'm curious what happens with your body, with your brain when you imagine yourself getting up, going on your walk, you're more than 3 minutes in. How does your body react when we just talk about it, when you're just sitting here and imagining it? Does it change at all if you
Yeah, I
imagine
mean, it
walking?
starts to feel tight in my SI joint.
So you can see how just by sitting here, you can actually increase the pain in one way. Yeah. So what we're going to just experiment with is just seeing if you could imagine with less pain. So let's pick the walking because that seems to be the one that has been getting worse and is a little more scary maybe.
Yeah, I mean, we did this with my hamstring and it totally went away.
Yeah, exactly, right? So let's try having you imagine that you're getting up and you're walking and you're joyful because you are so excited because you have no pain. You feel so loose, you feel so limber, you're imagining walking. And I'll send you this recording so you don't have to take notes, but you can just imagine maybe you're outside in a beautiful area and you just love everything about how good you feel right now. You feel, like you're 10 years younger, just walking around with so much energy, with good feeling in your body. Maybe the sun is on your face, you're smiling, and just feeling how amazing it is to be able to do those movements with complete calm, comfort, even joy. Are you able to imagine that?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. How does that feel? Tell me a little about it.
Well, I mean, I can remember when I wasn't hurting.
Mm-hmm.
So I so it does feel, I do feel loose.
Loose when you're walking in your imagination. Yeah, so
Mhm.
loose. What does that area maybe look like compared to what you see now in your mind's eye?
It is more, instead of like a red bullseye
Uh-huh.
back there, it's more a blue-green kind of color,
Mm-hmm.
cooler.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So maybe, when you are having some sensation, you can imagine that red,
Yeah.
like cooling down and changing colors, and maybe the breath, you can send your breath down there and that cools it down.
Yeah, definitely, because definitely the more I think about it hurting, the redder, the
Yeah.
more it hurts.
Right. When you even imagined yourself walking, it got
Hmm.
worse.
Yeah.
And now as you're, just calm with it, we're not like intently trying to change it urgently. We're just like so curious about it and fascinated with it, and loving it and telling it it's safe. And I love that you're doing those loving kindness meditations, because I tell my body that it's safe a lot too. I think you said you do that too. You're safe. But
Well, I remembered it when I went back and looked at your pen vent.
oh, yes, tell yourself you're safe, and hands on your heart even, and
Right.
yes. So how is the sensation now as you're just sitting here in real life? Not
I can't really feel anything.
amazing.
Mhm. I
How,
like the idea of sending a cool breath
yeah,
back there,
yeah.
because I am breathing a little harder when I'm walking, and
Mm.
um, the like essential oils and stuff like that you put on sore spots is deep blue was
Yeah,
one I
I
use.
know
So
that.
I think of blue as a
Oh, yeah. You might
cooling.
even, oh my gosh, even you telling me that, I imagine the tingle on my back of deep blue. So you might even, I like had that sensory experience in my imagination as we were talking. So you might even imagine yourself putting deep blue on. I mean, the sky's the limit. It's whatever you feel like imagining. You can just play around with it and be so curious. And when you know that it can change without you doing anything else structural, then you know that it's just these neural pathways. It's just a question of how to calm them without adding more fear, right?
Right.
Urgency and like, I've got to change it. What's going on? It's not working. I'm not doing it right. Versus, just being so like calm, curious, loving.
Yeah, the loving part for sure,
Yeah.
because generally when I think about it when it's happening, I'm like, dang it, stop.
Mhm.
you know
Yes.
like, it hurts.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not enjoying my walk because it hurts.
Yeah. Get into kind of a maybe catastrophizing mode a little bit.
It gets worse and worse and worse the more the walk goes on. And then I say, oh,
Yeah.
dang it, I'm going to keep on going because I'm not letting this. But that's not particularly loving.
Not loving. Right.
That's like, I'm going to get through this,
Right.
as opposed to sending cool breath and love to that area. That's a big difference.
Mhm. And like enjoying the movement and how delicious it feels to be able to stretch and move your body. And
Hmm.
I'm
Definitely.
curious if you just tune in, kind of close your eyes one more time and just tune into that area. And if you ask that area, if you just focus on that area and ask it, if it has a message for you, what that would be.
Yeah, I mean, it's relax. Relax. I'm just trying to get your attention, but relax. What'll happen will happen with the job or anything else, and it'll all work out.
How does that feel in your body when you're thinking?
I feel relaxed.
Relax, it'll all work out. Whatever will happen, will happen.
Oh, Betsy, that was the other thing. Up until June and July, well, I'm a Christian, so like what I was thinking was, whatever God's will is in this situation, let that happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until it became a reality that I was being considered, that thought has diminished. And it got more into, I needed to go on the interview. I did a practice session with a coach friend of mine, and what if, that this is when it really started to hurt.
You kind of lost that focus, or that letting go, or
the letting go and the surrender.
The surrender. Yeah. And then you started getting anxious and tight, and your body started hurting, and your heart is beating like crazy. And just these grounding moments and centering, and everything's going to be okay, can shift everything.
Yeah.
They can both be true, right? Like we're imagining either way. We're imagining the future either way. It's all pretending.
Yeah. and I realized that my thought, I'm going to lose all my freedom, that's not even true, because I get to set the structure. And if what they want is not this in line with what I have in mind, I don't have to take it.
Yeah. Amazing. That's powerful. And when you feel empowered, you don't have stress. You don't have the stress response, because you think
empowered. That's good. Yeah. I'm not a victim.
You are not a victim.
At the whim of what they want. I can choose to or not to.
Yes. And you'll always choose the best thing for yourself.
Right.
Because you are going to take care of yourself.
With love.
With love. Because that feels the best to you. That's the best way to serve other people.
Yeah. And I'm often, or have often in my lifetime, been very hard on myself. Like the perfectionist.
Yeah.
I have to do this right. What if I do it wrong?
Right. And you were worried about disappointing those people, and all of that extra stuff throws off your alignment. Yeah.
Literally. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
My back alignment.
I know. I was thinking of doing a podcast episode about alignment, because as a physical therapist, I talked about alignment so much. And now I'm like, alignment, I see it so differently, but it's still relevant.
It's still relevant. And that would be a great podcast.
Yeah. If you're out of alignment, like, you feel it in your body, right?
Yeah.
Anytime you commit to doing something you don't want to, and you're resentful, you feel it. And
everything goes wonky because you're out. Yep.
Jane, great work.
So good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
If you have been following this work, if you think coaching might help you, if you've been struggling with chronic pain or disease, and you think there might be something more, and you're drawn to this, then please check out my group coaching program. It starts next week. So get on the interest list right now so I can send you the information. The link will be in my show notes, and space is limited. So if this is calling to you, don't hesitate to get on the list today.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you learned a little bit about your brain today that helps you in your life like it helped me. Please be sure and subscribe and leave a review. And of course, be sure and share this podcast with someone you know that wants an unstoppable body and mind.